And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the way. Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet. He was like
a friend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. You're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeff.
But it did me. My heart is with Cassie. She and all the women that testified had to sit on the stand while the world has debated their credibility.
50 Cent reacts to bombshell verdict in Diddy trial. 50 Cent has responded to the shocking verdict in the highly publicized trial of Sean Diddy Combs. After hundreds of testimonies, 34 witnesses, and 2 federal raids, the court has finally reached a decision. Diddy was found guilty of transporting his ex-girlfriends, Cassie and Jane, for profit, but was acquitted of the more serious charges including racketeering, conspiracy, and human trafficking. Although he managed to beat the RICO charge, Diddy still faces up to 20 years in federal prison.
Commotion outside the courthouse. Sean Combs' mother just returned here. She walked in just a second ago, said she is feeling good because her son was acquitted of the most serious charges that he faced. And racketeering conspiracy, both of which could have sent him to prison for life. He was convicted, though, of transportation to engage in prostitution. And that charge could put him in prison for up to 20 years, although it's not expected he would get that much time. What we're waiting for now is the judge to decide whether Combs can be released on bail while he awaits his sentencing. He offered to put up $1 million. He put up his homes in Miami and Los Angeles. They're certainly opulent. The jury, the judge, everybody saw pictures of them. And the judge said he would convene a hearing later this afternoon to determine if Combs should be released.
50 Cent set to expose Diddy in explosive Netflix docuseries. 50 Cent's long-running feud with Diddy is heading to Netflix. The rapper is currently producing a docuseries titled Did He Do It?, slated for release in late 2025. According to 50 Day, the series will dive deep into alleged crimes and controversies that go far beyond what was revealed in court. He claims to have been gathering evidence for decades, and says the public is only months away from seeing it all unfold, if 50 Cent delivers on his promise. This documentary could mark a major turning point in the already intense drama between the two hip-hop heavyweights.
Each other business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why it's only business. It was really, away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was acting to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. When I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability. He goes, yo, I spend $100,000 to find out why my name is in this like this. And it's in it only because he's uncomfortable.
50 Cent and Diddy's feud may have started with a personal one seems to have more animosity toward Diddy than 50 Cent, whose feud with the music mogul dates back long before any legal proceedings began. According to long-circulated rumors, their falling out may have been sparked by a personal moment. Allegedly, Diddy once invited 50 Cent on a shopping trip, which 50 interpreted as more than just a friendly gesture. At the time, speculation about Diddy's sexuality was already making rounds, and 50 declined, believing there were deeper intentions behind the invite, whether true or not. The story has fueled one of the most talked about rivalries in hip-hop history.
Close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. Stop it, man. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on there. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the way. Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway.
All these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
No, I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They said
You're a
you're
hater.
crazy.
You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My is hurting.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. You're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
He posted a picture of him smiling and wrote the caption, "Diddy beat the Rio." That boy a bad man. He like the gay John Gotti. Hey, yo, chill. Then he posted this one. He said, "Diddy just told me to tell y'all don't worry about him. He gonna hold it down." I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like 50 Cent happy that Diddy didn't go to jail. As much as he don't like Diddy, I don't think he wanted to really see him in jail doing life.
50 Cent stands alone in calling out Diddy. The reason 50 Cent can go after Diddy so relentlessly is simple: he has nothing to hide. In an industry where many stayed silent out of fear or association, 50 has remained unapologetically outspoken, refusing to be compromised by fame or flashy parties. While others were busy attending Diddy's infamous gatherings and turning a blind eye, 50 chose a different path, one rooted in personal integrity, surrounded by what he calls Diddy's accomplices. 50 Cent stands out as one of the few voices willing to speak up, regardless of who's watching.
Worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took
I
took a pill, but it was for me to perform better, or to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the happened. What the is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drinks. I gave me to perform so she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, this is the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. I don't know why it's so hard for people
so
just
for
to
people to feel like you would have something, or you would have reserved energy because you feel like you was doing it too. This is people that are looking on separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues, and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what is that?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip hop culture could think that everybody in hip hop culture is with that.
Netflix docuseries that you've been working on. Diddy Do It?
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle. You weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way he would present the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it. Just that alone.
So you didn't realize
as much stuff was coming. Like, when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them, and it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like, when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going with like, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. So I hope it works out, because with his family, the things that go on internally is that those accusations.
Diddy faces up to 20 years, but it could be much more. Diddy is currently facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison based on the charges he was convicted of. However, with multiple counts of the same offense on the table, that number could significantly increase. Ultimately, the judge holds full discretion over the final sentencing. If the court chooses to impose consecutive sentences or weigh aggravating factors, Diddy could be looking at the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars.
Big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible. And I agree, because it's a sex crime.
Prosecutors, they said in their filing yesterday that it's a crime of violence. We'll see how it goes down when it goes to sentencing. But
you know what? Hold on. I know we don't have a lot of time. Here's something nobody's pointed out. That judge can hit him what's called relevant conduct, where they could actually sentence and enhance him for things that he either was acquitted of, found not guilty of, based on the conduct of what he did. So he may get more time.
The judge has a lot of discretion here. There's no minimum. Max is 10. There's been talk about would he even go past the guidelines, because you're talking about multiple instances of transportation to engage in prostitution and two victims.
Relevant conduct allows the judge to do that.
Right.
The defense will say he has discretion, but he really didn't, because the judge has all the discretion he wants.
That's 100%. That's why he's going to need as much information from a pre-investigation report. Let me ask you this. If he goes to prison, if he's sentenced to prison, he was acquitted of racketeering. He was acquitted of trafficking, but he was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution. Does he walk in a king, or does he walk in a pariah? How do other inmates look at him if he was acquitted?
You know what? He was acquitted on some charges.
Yeah.
People win. On multiple counts, people sometimes get things dismissed all the time. Fact is, he's no better than anyone else. He's a convicted felon.
But he's going to get the maximum. The judge will give him the maximum, just like they gave O.J. Simpson the maximum in Vegas, because he got off Simpson in L.A. when he clearly killed these two people. And then when they got a second crack at him on a minor beef, relatively, of theft, they sentenced him to heavy time. So Diddy will go to prison, and he should. He's evil. And I say that because I just wrote a book called Confronting Evil.
Yeah,
he used narcotics and violence to coerce people to do what he wanted to do. That's evil. Sorry.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Now, back to Trump.
Well, hold on. Stephen wants to weigh in on what you just said. Go ahead.
Okay.
Only thing I want to weigh in, I don't want to castigate the entire culture. I'm tired of, we see pictures of a few bad apples conducting themselves in very disgusting manners and thinking that that's the entire industry. I'm a guy that was raised in the hip hop industry. I know an abundance of hip hop artists and beyond who have never engaged in, never been accused of, never would think of putting themselves in the context.
Diddy's camp celebrates verdict. Despite mountains of evidence, Diddy's fans and legal team are celebrating the verdict as a major victory after he managed to beat two of the most serious charges brought against him. According to courtroom sources, Diddy reportedly bowed his head and then applauded upon hearing the dissonor reaction that stunned many following the case. What's most shocking to observers is how, despite overwhelming evidence, including physical proof, video footage, and testimony from over 34 witnesses, Diddy still walked away from the most severe charges. For many, this outcome raises serious questions about power, influence, and accountability in the justice system.
Big update right now. Remember how we were just saying this is the best possible outcome for the defense? Combs agrees and the defense agrees. Combs, after being led out by marshals, as he was being led out, he knelt down in front of his chair and bowed his head down as if he was praying. When he stood up, he faced the gallery and he began to clap, prompting the gallery to clap and cheer. Combs' attorneys, they all exchanged hugs and the gallery continued to cheer for him. I mean, what a moment in that courtroom.
Well, the verdict is in. Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted on 2 counts of transportation of his ex-girlfriends to engage in prostitution, but cleared of the most serious charges against him. The music mogul has been found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of king. The charges he has been found guilty of are connected to his 2 former partners, including singer Cassie Ventura and a former girlfriend being referred to as Jane. In the U.S., it is a crime to knowingly transport any person with the intent that they engage in prostitution or illegal sexual activity. The 12-person jury deliberated for 3 days before reaching the verdict. The maximum penalty for each of the 2 guilty counts is 10 years in prison plus a fine.
How you doing? Not bad. How are you?
Anything you want the public to know?
Not yet. We'll be saying something soon. Thanks. We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie has brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that the jury has found him liable, guilty of 2 federal crimes.
It's absolutely a win. The defense took a really big gamble going to trial on this case. Really, any time that a defendant chooses to go to trial against the federal government, it's a big gamble. They have a lot in their favor, and it really paid off for Combs.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict.
Verdict delivered. Sean Diddy Combs convicted on transportation. Charges. The verdict is in for Sean Diddy Combs. The music mogul has been convicted on 2 counts of transporting his ex-girlfriends to engage in prostitution, but was acquitted of the more serious charges, including racketeering and conspiracy. The 2 guilty counts involve his former partners, singer Cassie Ventura, and another woman identified only as Jane. Under U.S. law, it is a crime to knowingly transport a person with the intent that they engage in prostitution or other illegal sexual activity. After 3 days of deliberation, a 12-person jury reached the verdict. Each count carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, along with fines, meaning Diddy could face up to 20 years behind bars.
Nearly a 2-month trial with 34 witnesses and hours of salacious testimony. A jury of 8 men and 4 women finds Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of racketeering and trafficking, but guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge is currently deciding right now whether Combs will actually be released today. His defense arguing that since the music mogul was acquitted of the most serious crimes, he should be able to go home. Once court was adjourned, family members cheered today's verdict. Combs' son, Christian, telling ABC News how happy he is.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
This is shocking. This was an enormous defeat for prosecutors. The 3 big charges, which is why they prosecuted him in the first place, the jury acquitted Diddy.
They only found him guilty on what we knew all along were the easiest things to find him guilty of. That was the transportation for purposes of the Mann Act,
which is sending a prostitute across state lines. Right. Happens every day.
We knew before the trial started he was guilty of those.
They never would have filed these charges if it were just that. This undeniably is an enormous embarrassment for prosecutors, and it really underscores what Mark Agnifilo was saying, that they tried to make it about baby oil and Astroglide and all that other stuff. and the jury,
but you can't ignore the fact that they looked through also Cassie's emotional testimony. Pregnant Cassie testifying
and didn't buy it.
It wasn't enough.
Didn't buy it. It is undeniably a victory for Diddy, even though he's going to spend time in prison, it would seem.
Diddy's family celebrates outside courthouse. Amid controversy after the verdict was announced, Diddy's family was seen dancing and celebrating outside the courthouse. However, the drama extends beyond the trial. Both of Diddy's sons were named in a related lawsuit, with allegations that Diddy used them to gain access to more women. Additionally, both sons currently face separate assault charges. This verdict has become a major embarrassment for the prosecutors. With such overwhelming evidence on the table, many are left questioning the justice system's effectiveness. If Diddy can't be convicted under these circumstances, what hope is there for accountability?
Here are the people celebrating it. Here are the people celebrating it. Crackhead Barney getting in on the action. Give me the baby oil, jumping around as they sprayed baby oil on her. I don't want to keep giving them attention, but I want you to see just how dumb this was. This was painted as the chaos. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a stunt. It's a dumb, stupid stunt. She looks ridiculous. She looks terrible. And this is what it's about? This is what we're celebrating? I mean, this is horrible.